TG Geeks, episode 355, December 6th, 2021. From east to west, in search of horror. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre. You name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, and it is actually lovely.
It is. I haven't checked to see what the temperature is, but yes, it's quite lovely outside.
Quite lovely.
Here, and I'm Ben Raggington here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes. Well, let's just get right on to it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we are talking to Michael Seabolt. He is the director and writer of
Sleep Tight.
Sleep Tight. Gosh, it's been a busy morning already. And then we have our regular birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, everybody's favorite feedback episode, or parts of, not a whole episode of feedback, although sometimes we could do that. Regular shout-outs are, we might have something to talk about in the second segment, and our wacky weekly recap, as well as our regular shout-outs. So do you want to get right to it, or do you want to chit-chat about something else? Okay, here we go. And we want to welcome to our show Michael Seabolt, who is a director and writer. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Cool. So tell us, who is Michael Seabolt, and kind of how did you get into filmmaking? You know, give us the elevator pitch of your life, say up to the, about halfway up the Empire State Building.
Oh, gee, mine only goes up to the third floor.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I was, how far back do we go? I was conceived in a Pinto. No, I'm just fine.
Yeah. Whoa!
I grew up in I grew up in a town in Maryland called Perry Hall, and it's a smaller town, and my brother, my dad, and I all kind of very different growing up, but the one thing we did have in common was movies. So I kind of fell in love with movies from a young age because I guess I associated that with bonding, and stuff like that. So that's kind of where my love for movies came from. And then I tried working a desk job after college and hated it. So I decided to move out to California and chase filmmaking. So I moved out here and started PAing and worked my way up from there. I work as a full-time AD right now, trying to make the jump into directing full-time. So that's where my short film came in that I believe you saw at
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Later.
Apocalypse Later. Yes, not Apocalypse Now. What am I saying? That's a movie.
Wait, that's now. This is later. It's Apocalypse
that's a
Later.
To Apocalypse Now.
So you have done assistant directing, so it was a natural jump for the short film to try your hand at doing that, would you say?
Yeah, it was actually amazing just because I know ADs, I think the average lifespan is 58 years old. So I was trying to get out before, you meet that deadline. And I just kind of AD'd myself on set. So I directed, I wrote it, I produced it, I made the schedules, I did wardrobe. It's like your first indie film.
Right.
I know everybody out there that's done an indie film, you wear so many hats and do so many different jobs that it's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. It just sometimes it's everything, including the acting part. Sometimes,
I can't do that. I can't act at all. So
you can act like you can be impressed, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
hey,
what's his
was
name?
Great.
Ron Burgundy, or the guy from Talladega Nights, where he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. You just stand awkwardly in front of the camera. That's me when I try to act.
Cool. So tell us what we saw the film, and I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, we're talking about the short film Sleep Tight. Now, you talked about being an AD. I assume this was your first foray into writing for a film, correct?
Actually, no. I've always written kind of scripts. I've always tried to write. I guess it's as like a form of therapy. You just get your feelings out there on paper, and they're just out there, and it's been spoken. And you can make peace with stuff. But Sleep Tight was the first one I actually decided to do because, from an AD standpoint, it was easy. I only had 3 actors, 1 location. So yeah, that was my real decision on why to shoot that one, because it was easy, cheap, and not too much craziness.
Okay, so then let's discuss the subject matter, because this was disturbing. You want to talk?
Tell us about
tell us a little bit. What is Sleep Tight?
Sleep Tight is actually the opening scene to a feature I'm working on, where it's about like the decisions you can make in life affect how you turn out. So I worked in law enforcement for a little bit, and you would always hear people talk about like their kid and all this stuff, and it's like, well, he had a rough upbringing and all that, and that's why he turned to crime. But one of the guys in my academy class grew up homeless, lived in a car, had every opportunity to become, a bad person, but he went down a different life path. So the feature is about the decisions you make in past and all that stuff. And no matter how bad your past is, you can always do the right thing. And
Absolutely.
As you guys see, Preston's past was a little rough because, his maternal parents died or were killed. And then his adoptive parents, not to spoil the short, but are killed. So, you would think as a grown-up, he would be a bad person or just come from a rough past. But he's really not. He overcomes it, and he's fighting evil. It's kind of like a Mod Squad meets Constantine type vibe.
Oh, cool. That sounds great. Okay. So, and that is, so this is kind of the prequel or the setup for the feature film where he goes out, and I assume, does it just jump from this child to adult, or are you going to show the in-between progression of him becoming the caped crusader?
Oh my God.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. He actually, I don't know if you remember at the end of the short, and it didn't make a lot of sense because I did this and I was like, oh, people aren't really going to know unless I explain it. But there's like newspaper clippings where it's like he's adopted by the church and all that stuff. So he's raised by the church to be a demon hunter after, his adoptive parents are killed. So that's what we cut into him, like, a couple years later doing his training montage, Rocky style. At the church.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's been, I could just hear the theme. Da 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 da. Yeah, that would be hilarious. as he's handing like a crucifix or something. I mean, that's just weird.
Yeah, throwing holy water at people.
Right.
That music, the montage. Music.
Or have little tiny crosses, but those will look like those ninja stars.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm actually going to steal that. You have to edit that part out so I don't get busted.
Take it
later.
Take it. Just give me a name credit, in the film, and I'm good.
Or
definitely, I got you. Creative credit.
Yeah.
Or
your way.
the nunchucks that cast holy water.
Oh yeah, and they also look like a big
awesome.
cross.
Yeah.
It was like,
Okay,
like
we've
Nerf
just
nunchucks soaked in holy water.
Yeah,
so,
we have just ruined this movie.
Yeah. So he wears this gigantic cross that splits into nunchucks that throw holy water.
I love it.
Well, we've just
come more at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, we've just come up with a great parody.
Killing it.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I have this horrible feeling that you're not going to be able to make your feature film and do it with a serious
He's going to
face
hang up
anymore.
on us here in a minute.
He's like, these guys are killing my movie here.
We have to have 2 films now. We'll just do 2 of them. It'll be like, what was it, Naked Gun? Where it was like you had the original spy movie and then Leslie Nielsen came in and just totally made a spoof of it.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you come up with this idea? Was it based on that person that was in your academy class, or centered around that thinking, or did you have an idea like this before that?
It was kind of just based off of my family, because my mom's side of the family was very interesting in the sense that, like, my mom, she had kids and she moved to the suburbs, and, typical, stuff like that. But then, her one brother was a Hell's Angel. And,
Oh, my.
it varied. It went from one extreme to another. So it's like people's upbringings can raise two different, I guess, variants in a way.
Exactly.
So that's kind of was my thought process behind it.
Yeah, my family on both sides had quite colorful pasts, so it's very interesting.
My dad was in a motorcycle gang for a while.
He was what?
My dad was in a motorcycle gang when I was a kid. It was really
gotcha.
far
I thought
out.
You said
Yeah,
soccer gang.
Oh no,
Like,
God,
was
no.
A hooligan?
No. No, total motorcycle. I mean, my parents divorced when I was young, and he came over for visitation rights, and he was deep into his motorcycle gang, and he came in, and I'm surprised my mom didn't kill him on sight and I didn't even recognize the man. I mean, he was terrifying to look at that point. So yeah, he made some weird choices himself. But yeah, it's so yeah. I guess that does make for an interesting film. Although. I'm curious, why choose, and it's not a criticism because I loved the short film. I mean, as dark as it was, I truly loved it because I love a good horror short, and yours was really outstanding. But why the supernatural element?
Oh, well, that's a totally different story. My grandmother's farmhouse when I was a kid was actually used as a hospital during the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
So it was absolutely terrifying to stay there.
Lots of ghosts there.
Yeah. So it's like I've always kind of loved the supernatural aspect, and I think the cool part about like Poltergeist and Exorcist and all that is you can't really fight that monster. It's just there. And it's not like Freddy or Jason where you can actually put your hands on it. It's something you can't control.
Right.
So I think that's scarier than an actual physical, monster.
Right. So was your grandmother's house on the north or the south? Well,
it's funny because people like Maryland is right on the Mason-Dixon line.
Right.
So the south thinks we're the north and the north thinks we're the south. So we never really we played both sides of the Civil War, I guess. Either way, we were going to win.
Right.
But, it's like, yay, go us. But her house was actually right by Gettysburg.
So okay.
I guess it was technically north at the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you I've done a little bit of digging into the Civil War, and it's just the atrocities on both sides in the hospitals was unbelievable.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy time. Have you ever been out to Gettysburg and seen the museums and stuff?
I've not been to Gettysburg.
No, I lived in Virginia for a time, and only just dallianced into Maryland a couple of times, but no, never made it to Gettysburg, although I would love to kind of get into more of the Civil War areas. I mean, like I said, living in Virginia, I saw a lot of Civil War memorials, and I even lived in a house that was next to a Civil War museum where there were several ceasefire armistice agreements that were signed, and this museum was one of the sites where that was done. But no, Gettysburg, would love to see that someday.
Yeah, it's definitely a must-do. Like if you're into that kind of stuff, and I actually I would love to write a horror movie back in that time period too. So
yeah,
we're kind of working on stuff like that.
That would be fascinating.
So I take it you have a fondness for horror.
Oh, I love it. My mother's maiden name is Myers, so I'd be
nice.
Michael Myers
Nice.
if I used her maiden name. So always grew up like that, and it's I think the one genre that will never go away.
Yeah,
we'll always have a need for horror movies.
And it's timeless too. You can root that into any time period. I mean, science fiction. As much as I love sci-fi, it eventually gets dated, so you have to keep moving it. But horror, you can set that in any period, and it will work.
Yeah. We were not originally fans of horror until a friend of ours that does the Horrible Imaginings Film Festival in San Diego, and he was on the show way early in our podcasting career, and told us basically horror can be anything. It can be light, it can be dark, it can be, scary or jump scares and the whole 9 yards, but it's basically anything that is unusual and out of the norm. and surprising, if you will.
I
Can
mean,
be a horror-esque.
You look at Michael Jackson's Thriller video. That's a horror. It's a horror video, but it's music.
Yeah.
So horror can fit into any kind of genre and any kind of time period. So a horror Civil War movie, as long as it's well written, it'll work for me.
Exactly. Ooh, you could do
that's what I love about it. And, it's like you were saying, it could be any time period. Like, you can't have a rom-com set during, like, the Black Plague in medieval times.
Oh, God.
It's like,
why not?
It
Why
just
not?
doesn't work. No, I mean, I guess you could. It could be a musical, too.
Yeah, there you go.
With holy water nunchucks where they're going around just blessing people as they're passing away. But
Well, I tell you, if you choose that you don't want to do this, you can always reach out to Wakita Titi or whatever his name is, and I'm sure he'll grab at it because he likes to do that kind of weird stuff.
I feel like we should just do a show where we just spitball ideas and then people can just grab them and make them as long as we get credit for it.
Exactly. Wow. It'd be a zombie Civil War film.
So
Anyway, let's stop with that.
Yeah, we're stuck. Actually, I think a zombie Civil War, I think, has been done. Okay, so going back to Sleep Tight. Now, again, I really liked it because I thought the pacing was outstanding. The kid was really good.
Mason Wells.
Oh, he was great, and I love the cinematography behind this. I mean, it had some really rich colors, and it was really beautiful to look at, especially in Mason's room. It was stunning. So I'm wondering, did your experience being an AED? I mean, how much of that experience went into actually the overall look of this short film? Because again, I mean, even if you're not a fan of horror, I would recommend anybody need to see this because it is just visually stunning.
Wow, thank you very much. I'll definitely tell. I always mess up Justin's last name, my DP, Justin Aguirre. I don't know. Sorry. It's like it's Aggur or Uire. But he was amazing, and it's funny, it's him and I will always send like mood boards to each other and stuff. So we go in with the idea of what we're kind of looking for and shot list wise. But actually the craziest part about the whole set deck and all that was when I was location scouting, that was actually an 8-year-old boy's room. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really, I moved some stuff around and added a few props here and there. But the room was already that red color, which I kind of liked, just because red is kind of like danger and stuff like that. And, it just worked out very, very well. My wife made the moth that you see hanging. So we just took wire and, built that. So it was a lot of just hands-on arts and crafts type of stuff. And, the color palette just worked out very well because the parents' room, it was just good location scouting, I guess. And I just got extremely lucky with that location.
Right. And the hallway was perfect from one end to the other end. It was just, it's like, this is a ready-made home for a horror film.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't think I spoke about Apocalypse Later, but the hallway was just brutal because it's an older house. So every time they would walk, you would hear the floor squeak, and it was like a super loud squeak. So we couldn't get any usable audio.
Oh my!
So after like a couple takes of like trying it with Fernie pads and taking shoes off and all that, you get the final product where they're like walking and stopping and talking to each other and then walking again.
Right. I caught that, how they just had, I think you did actually mention that at the film festival. So so you said that this is, like the opening act of what's going to be a big feature film. What's the process, or not process, but what's the status of that film at this point?
Once Dogecoin gets up to $1, we'll start production.
Okay.
But no, we're just looking for funding at this point. And hopefully I just directed a drama short that will be released soon. And we have another short script called Dolores that's out in the festival world right now that's doing really, really well. So we're just looking for funding for Sleep Tight or, Dolores, and then we'll start making another one.
Right. Have you thought about crowdfunding for this or no? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Oh, go ahead. It is a lot of work, and I just feel bad. Like, I was going to start crowdfunding for it, but, during everything that's happening, like in our current situation in the world, and, our economy and the holidays coming up, I was like, oof, I feel bad like posting something because I know friends and family would want to, donate, but I don't know. I feel weird asking at this time and period right now. Maybe after New Year's, I'll give it a shot, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
hopefully, a studio's listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
could only be so lucky.
Water nunchucks and throwing star crosses.
Yeah, maybe when you throw that in there, they'll say, "Hey,
yeah, well,
here's a blank check, kid."
Yeah, well, A, we can only be so lucky that a studio is listening to us.
Exactly.
And B, maybe you don't want a studio listening to us because I have seen what studios do when they try to, get their fingers into the creative pie, and oh my God, it looks nothing like what what the original writer had in mind. So yeah, crowdfunding might be the way to go on that.
Well, also with the crowdfunding, you can do, multiple steps at a time. You can say, here's the funding to do this part of it, and here's the funding to do this part of it, and kind of chain them together until you come up with the amount of money you need. It's not an all-in-one shot. We've seen a number of people do Kickstarter, which is an all-in-one thing, and they're trying to raise $127,000, in 30 days. And unless you have a really big Rolodex, that ain't happening.
Yeah, but we know also other filmmakers that have gone like with Indiegogo,
and they'll do steps at a time.
They can chain it together, and usually it ends up working very well for them. So
just thoughts,
just some ideas.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to look into it more after the holidays and all that stuff. So I know I can count on your guys' contributions, right?
Well, you never know. I mean, we have helped out people in the past.
A number of films, yes, we have actually given.
Have you guys seen Dolores around at all? I don't know if I thought I talked to one of them. It might have been Keith at Apocalypse later.
I think
about
you talked
Dolores.
to Ben.
You were probably talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the short.
I'm the midget.
I'm the no-haired giant.
Yeah, and I'm the short little guy. I don't recall. We kind of popped into that day of Apocalypse later. It was sort of a last minute thing, so we went in very, very much unprepared. Senses blown. So if Dolores was mentioned by you, I greatly apologize for
No, don't apologize.
For
I'm happy you got to see Sleep Tight. I thought you guys were around most of the time, so that makes me feel really good. That
we stuck
you got
out
to see Sleep Tight.
Yeah, we were there pretty much just the one day, and then we had to leave. So, but no, I don't know where to quite go to this at this point.
No, it's all good. We can totally change the subject. Like, how about that weather today?
Thank you for the great save.
Doing really well, right? No.
Left turn.
Yeah, thank you for the great save. So the present state of Sleep Tight. Now, IMDb says it's currently in post, but I find that a little hard to believe.
Change that.
So yeah, it's fully done, and obviously it's been hitting the circuit. So you've got these other films coming out. So I guess my next question then becomes, if people want to if they want to see Sleep Tight, is it available on any kind of streaming service, like a Vimeo or something like that, by which they can catch it?
Or any film festivals that you're soon to be at?
There's, I think, a few festivals coming up. I'll have to look. It was just at the thing in the basement, Horror Fest. That's on November 10th. We missed that one. Hopefully it'll be in a few coming up. Once it's done its festival run, I'm hoping to get on a streaming service. I think it's done. What's today? Sorry, I'm looking on my computer right now. February 27th should be its last festival submission. So hopefully after that, I'm gonna try to get it on either Hulu or one of those streaming services. If not, I'll just put it on YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully like Shudder. It'd be a great. I don't know if the Shudder streaming service has short films or not.
I don't know.
They should, because this would be a perfect fit.
Isn't Shudder? Isn't that what's her name's shoot? Blumhouse, isn't that Is it Shutter
Blumhouse?
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 I don't think so.
I don't know.
Blumhouse works on Amazon.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's
All
a horror
confused.
one I think that streams on YouTube. That's like I guess a subscription service.
Oh, cool.
That I can't remember the name right now. I need like another cup of coffee before I can
I haven't had
start
my,
firing on all
I
cylinders.
understand that.
yeah, I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee yet. So yeah, you can't talk to
He
me.
gets up later than I do. My eyes flop open early. I have to get out of the
Yeah.
bed, you know? It's like, oh my God.
Right.
I'm trapped.
And
Anyway.
Okay.
have your peanut butter oatmeal with chocolate. And, and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I'm already and I'm ready for my nap now.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's where
I'm
I'm
ready for my nap now, Mr. DeVille.
yeah, ooh, well played. So now that we've discussed Sleep Tight, if people want to follow you and your progress, things that you're going to be working on, things that you're presently working on, things that you're done working on, any social media presence or even a website by which people can follow what you're doing.
Yeah, I actually have one that's www.michaelseabolt.com. Regular spelling for Michael Seabolt, Seabolt. Still working on that one, trying to make it a little better. But my Instagram is director_Michael_Seabolt. I believe that's it. Hold on one second before I give you guys false information. And then I think my Facebook is just Michael Seabolt. Yeah, it's director_Michael_Seabolt.
Do you have,
And my Facebook, I think it's me riding a bear.
okay.
Like the Putin picture. It's not a real bear. It's photoshopped, but
And do you have Twitter
Good
at all? Or
I don't have Twitter. I had TikTok, but I can't dance, so they kicked me off.
Amazing
I
how
always-
that is that I tell you,
I
you
always
have
say-
to pass that criteria.
yeah, I can't do that. My butt doesn't move that way.
Exactly. These hips do lie, and they can't dance.
Exactly. Well, this has been really great, Michael. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Hi, I'm Patricia Chica, director, producer, and here you are listening to my favorite podcast, The Two Gay Geeks. Oh, yeah.
As Ben sits here with his face on. He doesn't like that music.
I really don't.
I
like
love
this.
it.
I know that's.
I think it's wonderful.
And since you're running the soundboard,
It's my
it's your
choice.
choice.
Exactly. Here's a few selected birthdays for December 6th through December 12th, 2021. December 6th, Ryan White, poster child for the HIV/AIDS.
It's a tragedy that he had to be.
Yes, exactly. He was diagnosed in 1984 with HIV, and he contracted it through a blood treatment that he had because he was hemophiliac. And the school that he went to, and all of Indiana, and I mean, just everybody was up in arms about him going to school and blah, 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 and all the craziness around HIV.
Yeah, but
really kind of just came out at that point.
But a really neat thing happened afterwards in that, yes, his family had to relocate. He had to transfer to a new school, but eventually he ended up in a school where he was embraced and appreciated and loved by all the student body there. And so it shows that there is some decency and humanity out there.
Exactly. When he was diagnosed, he was only given 6 months to live. And he lived for 6 more years.
Yeah. And that's based on the medication they had back then.
Yeah, I mean this was the early days
of AIDS.
of AIDS and HIV. I mean it was a death sentence at that point. He died 1 week short of his high school graduation.
Oh, what a tragedy.
Although the awareness that was raised by his life was instrumental in Congress creating and the president signing the Ryan White Cares Act, which was a wonderful thing that has been re-signed numerous times. So it's
His passing was not in vain.
exactly. And then we have Paul Emil Botta. He was a scientist turned archaeologist. He was sent to Mosul in 1842, which was then part of the Ottoman Empire, part of Iraq now. And he is credited with the discovery of the long-lost, what is the capital of Assyria?
Oh, my God.
Actually,
I didn't know that. Wow!
It's King Sargon, the lost capital. I mean, he discovered this, and complete with winged bulls with human heads. You know, the classic Assyrian, what we associate with Assyria now, the kingdom of Assyria. So it was fascinating. 1842. Fascinating. Ira Gershwin, brother of George Gershwin and lyricist for some of the most memorable Gershwin songs.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. He was a master of twisting words, wordplay. Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of where I learned some of my crazy things that I like to do with words.
Possibly.
You know. And then podcaster friend and listener to our show, Andy Luke. Happy birthday.
Birthday, Andy.
December 7th, Jeffrey Wright, actor, recently as Bernard in Westworld, and The Watcher.
Oh, yes.
In the What If series. And he's actually played Felix Leiter in 3 Bond films.
Oh, I wasn't aware of
Casino
that.
Royale, Quantum of Solace, and No Time to Die.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Marie Tussaud, famously Madame Tussaud,
Yes.
of the famed Wax Museum. She learned her trade from a physician in France who originally used it for anatomy lessons. And actually, her mother was the housekeeper to this physician, and she learned from the physician, and then he turned to museum pieces, as she later did, and was almost guillotined during the Reign of Terror because of her friendship with the court at the time. And obviously moved to London after that, and the rest is history. And now we have one of our good friends.
One of my dearest friends in the world lives in Britain, Darren Anderson.
Darren Anderson. Happy birthday, Darren. And Julie Stiglitz-Regal, a former classmate of mine. December 8th. Imagine that. Terry Hatcher.
This is so weird because it was about,
it was yesterday.
Well, it was yesterday that I shared it on Facebook, but I can't remember how many years ago it was. It said 5 on Facebook, and I know it was longer than that. It's closer to like 10 or 12. But we were at Disney's California Adventure. You had gone to the restroom, and I was just right outside the it's the Animators exhibit
palette.
Well, not Animators Palette. That's a restaurant,
right? Oh, sorry. And whatever.
It's a store,
Animators Plaza,
something
Palace,
like that. Yeah, and
store thing.
She happened to be there, and somebody was getting her picture taken with her, and I just walked up and said, I hate to ask this, but you're awesome. Can I get a picture taken with you? And her daughter was there, and she said, "Oh, sure, absolutely." You know, her daughter took the photo, and she was so pleasant.
Yeah,
that's a memory I'm always going to treasure.
Yep, she's an actress in many things, Lois Lane and Lois and Clark, and just a really great actress and human being.
Absolutely, she's a fantastic person.
And now, Georges Melies. Oh my gosh.
What do you say about this
What
genius?
do you say? He was one of the very early filmmakers and actually raised filmmaking to an art.
He was a pioneer.
He was a pioneer in the filmmaking process. Developed many technical and narrative developments. He was actually a member of the first audience to see the Lumiere brothers cinematograph. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to buy it, but
so he invented it. So he made his own.
Well, he actually bought one and then...
Oh, did he? Oh, he finally did break? He did get one?
He bought not a Lumiere, but some other people were creating those types of film cameras, and he bought one, and obviously then began to tinker with it and make it.
I guess the rest is history.
Yep.
Which means we now need to watch the movie Hugo again.
Exactly. He created over 500 films.
I know, and most of them are lost.
There's some that are still, but they're just amazing.
They're fantastic to watch.
Just amazing in the fact that they literally colored every single
cell.
frame by hand. He died in 1938. So, what a loss. Rick Baker, master of makeup and prosthetics.
Yes.
What a master himself. He actually retired from the film industry in 2015.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he has a framed photo of Jack Pierce applying the last of the Frankenstein makeup to Boris Karloff.
Ooh.
But he modified it to make it look like he
was
and Pierce were applying the makeup.
Oh, of course he was.
And then we have Facebook friend of ours, Emily Black. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
December 9th, Joshua Bell, violinist, you could say prodigy, started playing the violin at age 4 after his mother discovered him stretching rubber bands across a bedroom drawer.
Oh, the handles of like a bedroom
and
whatever.
Yeah, among the drawer, and he would move the drawer to make different sounds.
Change the pitch.
Different tones with the pitch, yeah. Judi Dench.
Oh, my God.
Dame
what do you say about
Judi
her?
Dench, yes. Has a little bit of everything from sci-fi to Bond films to comedy.
I love her
She
best
is just
when she
wonderful.
does comedy. Her timing is just flawless.
Yes. She's just delightful, and we talk about this every time. It's Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Oh, yes.
If you have not seen this film, you must see this film with Dev Patel. I mean, Bill Nye. I mean, oh my gosh, Judi Dench. All of these people.
Maggie Smith.
Oh my gosh.
This movie is a gem.
Yep. And she is wonderful as the lost widow who discovers her purpose halfway across the world.
Yeah. She's a delight.
Yeah. And then we have a friend of ours, Andy Athy, and Anthony DeJoya. Happy birthday. December 10th. Genula Flanagan, actress. Just wait for it.
Okay.
A little bit of everything on TV, nearly everything in the 60s and 70s. She was had a regular role in How the West Was Won, and then she was on Deep Space Nine, Next Gen, and Enterprise. She was Vulcan ambassador in Enterprise. She's Dr. something Tanner in Next Generation. And then she was also in Lost and Defiance. And she also did that film that we saw, Trans-America.
Okay.
She was in that. She's one of those people that you say, I know her, but where the heck do I know her from?
Now you really have me curious. I think I might know who she is. So, of course, I've got to look her up now because I'm just going crazy, wondering who this amazing woman is.
Genula Flanagan. She was born in Dublin, and her name is like, one of those Irish names.
Yes, I do recognize her. Yes, I love her.
She's done so many things. I mean, just in everything. She did a lot of TV in between all of those things that I said.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly TV. So
yeah, and if people are wondering, all you got to do is think back to Star Trek Next Generation. She played Data's mother.
Yes. And then we have Walter Zinn, a nuclear physicist. He supervised the construction of Pile 1 at the University of Chicago, the world's first nuclear reactor. He also designed and built the first reactor to produce electric energy at Argonne National Laboratory in 1951. And then Canadian friend of ours, Kurt Armbruster.
Kurt from Calgary.
Kurt A, yeah. And then December 11th, Rita Moreno.
Oh, my God.
Well,
a lot of people, a lot of fabulous actors where all you can say is, what do you say about this person?
About Rita?
She's another legend.
Yep, been in both productions of West Side Story, and one of the very few performers to be an EGOT, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony winner.
Okay.
Yeah, so many wonderful things, and she's still going at the age of, I think she's 90 now.
She looks
fabulous.
Great still.
Yep.
But if we're going to talk about Rita Moreno, we have to talk about that. Oh my!
No, that was Cheetah Rivera.
No,
wasn't it?
No, that was Rita
Moreno. Oh, in the Ritz.
The Ritz
as Googie.
Googie.
Yes. I thought that was. Oh my God!
The best role ever.
You have to see the Ritz. It with F. Murray Abraham,
Murray
very
Abraham,
young F. Murray Abraham.
Who is
I think his first role.
And F. Murray Abraham. I mean, the man is very straight, very married, but very friendly. And he plays this flamboyantly gay character in this bathhouse.
Oh my gosh!
The movie is a scream, and
you have
Rita.
To see it.
It's hard to say.
She chews the scenery.
She chews the scenery.
Literally chews the scenery.
I can't say she steals the movie because F. Murray Abraham is just that freaking great in it. But Rita is a delight. She's so funny in this film.
Exactly. And she actually translated that role from Broadway onto the film.
Right.
Yeah, so it created the role. Dick Tufeld, voiceover artist, most known for his warning.
Oh, right, yeah.
Robot in Lost in Space. He was the announcer and narrator for Time Tunnel, Fantastic Voyage, Fantastic Four, 1978, Spider-Woman, 1979.
Wow.
All of
a lot of these I've not seen.
Oh, yeah. All of this.
I've seen them, but I have no clue as to his involvement.
He's the first voice you hear in Fantastic Voyage. And
I haven't seen Fantastic Voyage in years,
Yep.
and I'm sure that once I heard, I'm going, oh, that's right, yeah, that's him.
Yep. And then he was the voice of Gallo Wines, and at one point,
really,
yes,
I didn't know that.
They changed ad agencies, and he was not asked to audition, and he met.
But they just brought him in.
Yeah. No. They
went another direction.
They were going to go in another direction, and he met the ad manager, who was so embarrassed that he had not been brought in for an audition. He said, "Do a recording for us," and then he was told that he was 2 out of 3 choices.
Okay,
so they didn't change. Anyway. Friend of ours, Des Demise, happy birthday, and Kamal John Iskender, and Jason T. Gaffney.
Happy birthday, Jason.
Yeah. December 12th, Bill Nye, not the science guy.
Not the science guy,
the actor. Wonderful actor who was also in Best Exotic Marigold
Yes, he
Hotel,
was.
As well as in a Doctor Who episode about Van Gogh.
Oh my God! One of the best Doctor Who episodes of the Matt Smith era, and that scene that he is in is so unbelievably beautiful.
Yes,
I mean, it just brings tears to my eyes thinking about it.
Yep. Interestingly enough, he turned down the opportunity to play the Doctor in 2005.
He would have been a great Doctor.
Yep. And among other parts, he played a Smarty Bart Fast or Slarty Bart.
Slarty Bart
Slarty
Fast.
Bart.
Smarty Bart Fast.
Well,
is that
autocorrect?
Autocorrect. Okay, sure.
Yes. And Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
the movie.
And then, speaking of Doctor Who, Sarah Sutton, actress,
Nyssa,
played Nyssa for 48 episodes across 2 Doctors, and left acting to raise a family and reprise Nyssa for a couple of
She does
times.
the Big Finish audios.
And we have to give a shout out to Hamish's uncle, who has left us, John Downey. Happy birthday, John. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast. And last week we said we were going to be on the show, but we had a home emergency that I had to take care of in the afternoon, so we didn't make it to Technorama. But we are going to be on next week's episode, or here
we're hoping
in the next couple of days. So
we hope.
Yep.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
As usual, we want to give a shout out to the Joshua Tree Feeding Program, a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV and AIDS community for Maricopa and Pinal counties. Yes, Joseph, I am tired. He always says, I mess this up whenever I'm tired, or we've done several interviews or several episodes.
All of the above.
All of the above, yes. Joshua Tree offers a place where clients can select from a wide assortment of nutritional food products to take home. They set it up just like a store so that the clients can pick and choose what they want, and it empowers them so no food is wasted. They also have a new second distribution day for those in the gender non-conforming community that may be experiencing food insecurity regardless of HIV status. They also have a pet assistance program, so periodically they can get pet supplies for their beloved pets. And they're an all-volunteer organization, so they could really use your help. Please consider supporting Joshua Tree either through a single or a monthly recurring gift, and you can go to jtfp.org.
And it's time for our feedback segment. These are comments that we received in response to either articles or episodes. And the links for each of these articles or episodes will be in the show notes for this episode number 351 at TG. Oh my God. 355 at tggeeks.com, starting with regarding episode 351, which is why I made that ridiculous gaffe. Yes, starting with TG Geeks episode number 351, got a comment from Arkle, who says, and it's interesting, Keith making the comment about the face that I was making about the birthday music. Arkle says, the new birthday segment music reminds me of Thomas Dolby's She Blinded Me with Science, especially the opening part. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Couldn't resist.
Yeah, I should have known you were going to do that. Also has some thank yous to birthday shout-outs we gave. First from Cynthia Ward, who says thank you, and also from David Lee Summers, who says thanks for the birthday shout-out. Moving on, regarding Christmas classics of Jeannie Koch, Nightmare Before Christmas, we got a comment from your favorite sister, Lynn Lane Hill.
Yes.
Who says, thanks for the review, Jeannie. I have actually never seen or cared about watching Nightmare Before Christmas. Gasp. Yes. Didn't know what all the hype was. Really? But after reading your review, we may have to venture into our Disney Plus subscription and check it out this season. Jeannie responded with, it's truly worth investigating, Lynn, especially if you have Disney Plus already. It's totally worth your time. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts once you've seen it. Hamish Downey also had to say, I still need to watch this.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then we close this off with Ben's breakdown. Coco is a beautiful celebration of life, love, and music. And we got a comment from Hamish again. He says, I need to watch this one too. I did see Book of Life, however. Yeah. And that is our feedback.
If you want to leave a comment on anything that we publish, whether it is an episode or an article, you can do that on tggeeks.com. You can go to our Facebook page where everything is published, as well as Twitter and Instagram. Or you can leave a comment on our YouTube page where the episodes are posted. We also have a listener feedback line. If you want to leave a voicemail, we will play that on air. You can call 469-TG Geeks. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice. And as everybody knows, we're huge supporters of independent creators, whether filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please look up those independent creators that you know. Go to their Facebook pages, their Etsy pages, their web pages, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find them. Chat them up, chat other people up about their stuff, and please buy their stuff. Please support independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
We only have just a moment.
Just a couple moments. So
to talk about something.
You take it away.
We, this weekend, on Friday night and also Saturday night tonight, because we're recording this on Saturday, we went to Arizona Opera and we saw the new production that first live opera in 2 years at Arizona Opera. And this is the mariachi opera. It's El Milagro del Recuerdo. And it is such a lovely piece. It is just, it's so touching. It was written by the son of the man that wrote the first mariachi opera, and I just have neglected to write that down, but that was performed here at Arizona Opera quite a few years ago, and this is the kind of a prequel to that opera, and it is so touching. It takes place at Christmas. It's centers around a pastorelle in 1962, and it's just a wonderful piece. If you have an opportunity to see that, you can see it next weekend in Tucson, or I know Houston Grand Opera has done it. It may be making its way across the U.S. at this point.
I hope so.
Check it out.
And it's time for our weekly review. These are articles that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these articles will be in the show notes for this episode number 355 at tggeeks.com, starting with Sunday, November 28th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 76. On Monday the 29th, TG Geeks episode number 354. On Tuesday the 30th, Ben's Holiday Breakdown, Christmas with the Cranks is a movie with the laughs. On Wednesday the 1st, December 1st, Disney Plus releases TV spot for The Book of Boba Fett. On Thursday, December 2nd, Andrea's Angle, Wolf, Intriguing Concepts, Heavy-Handed Message. On Friday the 3rd, Amish Downey's Christmas Playlist Part 2, as well as another Andrea's Angle, Encounter. Powerful performances. And we close off the week, December 4th. I almost got through this perfectly. Almost. I was really taking my time to do it right. I almost got through this. Saturday, December 4th, Ben's Holiday Breakdown, Jingle All the Way may not have you laughing all the way.
Exactly.
We have some shout-outs that we need to make.
The rest of your tongue twisters.
Oh, my God. Now I'm in big trouble. We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First, two, you heard from Ark a little bit earlier. Brian Weber is his name. You can find him on Twitter as Geek of All Trades, also referred to as Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber. And he has his Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News, which republishes our content from time to time. And if you want to find the Post-Dispatch News, go to Twitter and find Geek of All Trades. And geek is spelled G, number 3, K. And while you're looking for all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel, Arkle Studios, youtube.com/Arkle Studios. He has a number of projects there. He has his Shameless Cash Grab series, which is in season 7. He has ended, Rants vs. Zombies is over, but hey, it's still there. You can always listen to past episodes if you wish. He also has Arkle Tier Ranks, as well as game videos of Trick and Treat and Star Trek Online. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to share our stuff there. First, Two Gay Geeks After Hours. Got to give big thanks to the moderators for allowing us to share away. And their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for pretty much the same thing. And their URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays for a replay. Listen to their other content. They're a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for the webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Leave us a voicemail, 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.